So I am so delighted. My path crossed Lynette many moons ago in Whidbey Island, Washington. We had several mutual connections. And she happened to see in 2019, when I was starting to market on social media the flyer for the conference, or that I was coming, she was like, I'm here. I was like, what? What are you doing there? So she's going from the top of the West Coast all the way down to Florida. She has been such a strong advocate. She pours into me just like so many of all the presenters. Oh, good gracious, Lynette. She has 7 children. I'm still blown away by that because I'm like, how, where, why, when? Oh, good gracious. And they are so amazing. She is called to empower, engage, and excite others to believe. She has overcome abuse, molestation, divorce, religion, and death. Her passion is toward women and young girls that are hurting and displaced in these areas, understanding that it is her testimony that has made her who she is today. She uses it all for the glory of God through her dances, her songs, her writings, and speaking. If you haven't stopped by her table, please do. I want you to please support all the vendors. But I can go on and on about Lynette, but I just adore her. She's such a beautiful light. And she's going to be speaking on forgiveness. Without further ado, please welcome Lynette to the stage.
Good afternoon, everyone. Have you guys enjoyed everything so far? Yeah. And I know that I have. And while I am getting ready, I'm gonna have my niece and my daughter, they're gonna come in and out a book for everyone. Although we speak about human trafficking and helping others and everything, we can't do anything until we first help ourselves. And that's why I'm speaking about forgiveness. This book is called Beautiful You Are, and I love to empower women, adult women, but my passion is really to reach them before they reach adults, to combat everything that they have to face in society, things that they may have already endured as children, so that they hit adult age, they're already empowered. Things just speaking of forgiveness. Forgiveness being the bridge to wholeness. I would love to see everyone walk in wholeness, to be healed, to be healthy, and to be whole. And to start, I'm going to take you to the scripture, and I'm going to read from John 4, and I'll start at verse 7. There cometh a woman of Samaria to draw water. Jesus said unto her, Give me to drink. For his disciples were gone away unto the city to buy meat. Then saith the woman of Samaria unto him, How is it that thou, being a Jew, askest drink of me, which am a woman of Samaria? For the Jews have no dealing with the Samaritans. Jesus answered and said unto her, If thou knewest the gift of God, and who it is that saith to thee, Give me to drink, thou wouldest have asked of him, and he would have given thee living water. The woman said unto him, Sir, thou hast nothing to draw with, and the well is deep. From whence then hast thou that living water? Art thou greater than our father Jacob, which gave us the well, and drank therefore himself and his children and his cattle? Jesus answered and said unto her, Whosoever drinketh of this water shall thirst again. I'm going to continue. But whosoever drinketh of the water that I shall give him shall never thirst, but the water that I shall give him shall be in him a well water springing up into everlasting life. The woman said unto him, Sir, give me this water that I thirst not, neither come hither to draw. Jesus said unto her, Go call thy husband and come hither. The woman answered and said, I have no husband. Jesus answered unto her, Thou hast well said, I have no husband. For thou hast had 5 husbands, and he whom thou now hast is not thy husband. In that saidst thou truly. The woman said unto him, Sir, I perceive that thou art a prophet. And then I'm going to skip to verse 28. After she got the water, the woman then left her water pot and went her way into the city and said to the men, Come, see a man which told me all these things, all things that I never did. Is he not? Is not this the Christ? And you're probably wondering, what does that story have to do with forgiveness? Well, it has a lot to do with forgiveness. If we start from the end, if you look at the woman, it said the woman went and she left her water pot. Now, when she's talking to Jesus, she's like, hey, I'm at my father's, this is my father's Jacob's well. Nothing can be greater. We've been drinking out of this well. This well is deep. And so she trusted in that well. And a lot of us, we have things that are from our father's house. And we're drinking out of that well. Things that, good, bad, things that you can still hurt. And all we're doing is stirring the pot, stirring the water, and we're still drinking out of that well. And that's what she was doing. Like, this is what I know. This is what I'm comfortable with. I'm good. Until she came and ran into Jesus that had living water and told her, hey, there's this living water that I can give to you. And she drinks from Jesus' water. And then at the end, it said she left her pot. So what she knew, she left. And she didn't stop and ponder and be like, you know what? All the things that happened to me, being with, I was married all these many times. I had 5 men. What about, I need to know, I need to walk in this forgiveness. She didn't say, I had to pause and wait for them to come and say they're sorry or anything. It said when she met Jesus and drank of his water, she let it go. And to let go of something, that's forgiveness right there. And so that's why I chose this story of forgiveness. And a little backstory about myself, like Jen said, I have 7 children. My background is ministry. I am a minister. My parents are pastors, grew up in church. But I endured a lot growing up in church. You'll probably see me sweating. Look past that, 'cause I'm hot, but I'm gonna be okay. Yes, I went through a lot growing up. I went through molestation. I went through rape. I had a child at 15, bringing him up. I had a child that died. I gave birth in my parents' bathroom. And there were a lot of reasons I felt growing up. There are a lot of reasons that I could just be mad at the world, and looking for people to come and, say they're sorry or come and, I felt like things were owed to me because of things that happened to me. But it wasn't until first I forgave myself. And second, I released and I, understood the love of God and what he had for me, and was just be able to forgive others, that I could truly walk in wholeness and forgiveness. And it is a process. It's a process. Even today, I'm a survivor of breast cancer, but I believe that the way that I held, when I was younger, I held so much stuff in. If we hold stuff in, forgiveness is gonna manifest itself one way or another. If we're not walking in forgiveness, if we're not letting go of things, it's gonna manifest. And we can't go out and save the world and say, I'm empowering this and I'm empowering that and I'm doing this, but we're walking and we're still holding those things. It's gonna manifest itself one way or another. We can walk around and look strong because people look at me and they're like, oh, you're so strong, and but on the inside, I remember that I was so hurt and so broken. If my pillow could talk, but like I said, until I got to the love of God, and I was able to let go and walk into forgiveness, that's when things in my life started to change. I'm trying to do this. Guys, can you hear me? Sorry. Okay, we're gonna do an exercise, okay? The first thing with forgiveness is obedience. We a lot of times want something to be explained to us when we have these justifications. Well, if I forgive, that means that, this, that, and the other. But forgiveness really has nothing to do with the other person. Sometimes we forgive the other person doesn't know, that you may not even have opportunities sometimes to talk to the person that you forgive. They may have passed, they may have gone on in their life, because a lot of times we're holding things while people are out living their lives and they're happy, but we're still holding. Okay, so forgiveness is obedience. So right now, I want everyone to take out a piece of paper. Before I go on, you should have a piece of paper. And just think about an area as we're talking about forgiveness. You can think about a name, you can think about a situation, and just write that down on your piece of paper. She said, "Oh, Jesus. Just give me one. I'm not going to ask you to share or anything like that. I just want you, this is for you. Just put that down on a piece of paper. I'm going to tell you what forgiveness isn't. Forgiveness isn't sweeping things under the rug and saying what the other person did or said. That's not forgiveness. Forgiveness is also not necessarily forgetting what happened. Depending on the situation, forgiveness requires time, mostly. It requires time. So did everybody or most people participate in that? Yep. Write it down on a piece of paper? Okay, thank you for that. And before we move further, I'm going to give you a few steps to forgiveness. Step one is acknowledging the pain. A lot of times we try to be strong and I'm good, I'm fine. Those are my 2 words growing up, I'm fine. My mom would get so mad at me, man, what's going on? I'm fine. All the while she knew something was going on, But we walk around and hold this false strength, especially, I want to say, especially as, our Black women. That's a strength we don't need and we need to let go of. We want to do so many things. We want to help, we want to be strong, we want to be entrepreneurs. But we have to let go of that. I'm fine, I'm strong. When it hurts, it hurts. And acknowledge that pain. Cry, let it hurt. Number 2, think things through. One thing that I do is I journal. When it hurts, sometimes you don't have the words to express what's going on and how bad it hurt. Think it through, write it down, journal it. Just put it somewhere, just don't hold it in here. Because holding it in here is what makes you sick. Holding it in here is what makes you hurt others. And you don't want to hurt others in your hurt. Because a lot of times when we hold the hurt, that's what we're doing. We're now beginning to hurt because we haven't dealt with it. So try writing it down or share it with a trusted friend. Number 3, imagine being on the other side. Think about the time you needed forgiveness. You ever thought about that? Sometimes you don't think about that we're not perfect either, and so we just think about our hurt at the time. But my pastor says a lot, he says, put yourself on the other side of the desk, and try to see it from their point of view. I mean, wrong is wrong, it can't be condoned, but that is a step to help you maybe give you another perspective, is to imagine being on the other side. Number 4, remember God's forgiveness. When we remind ourselves of the debt that Christ paid, how can we not think of the grace and mercy that he has bestowed upon us? And it's biblical. It says, forgive your brother over and over. I mean, I remember younger, we read that Bible, the verse where it says, 70 times 7, so many times, but trying to do the math on that, and it just did not add up. And I would get so like upset, like, you really need to tell me this person can come and do this many times that I'm supposed to forgive. But growing up in adulthood, I do understand that much better. Number 5, like I said, reflect on the biblical command that it says that we are to forgive our trespasses and we forgive those who trespass against us. And number 6, let go of the hurt. Let go of the hurt. Do you know that, as in holding on, that the devil wants you to hold on to your hurt? That becomes a foothold. You know, the devil knows that this is the area I can get her. This is the area I can get him. You're holding on to it. You got to let go of that hurt to choose to move forward. And that's essential in forgiveness. And as I'm saying, let go of the hurt. I'm going to come down now. Okay. As we're talking about let go of the hurt, and everybody who, as an act of what we said will be forgiveness was obedience. Obeying what, it said in the Bible to forgive. And just as an act of obedience, just as, following what we're supposed to do and moving forward in the area that you want to go in life, you don't want to leave from this place the same. We're talking about being unstoppable. We're talking about going out and changing the world. We're talking about going out and finding young girls, or, being able to notice, being able to have that discernment to see the hurt in other people. And like I said, we can't find that. We won't notice it. We won't see it if we're blinded by the hurt that we're going through. If we're blinded by that unforgiveness that we're holding. So as I'm talking, you can take that piece of paper, and it doesn't, it goes away. It's just an act. It's just a symbol of I'm different. I'm walking out. This is what I'm working on. Take that piece of paper, tear it, crumble it up. There's a trash can right here. And yes, you can come walk to the trash can and throw that paper in the trash can because you want to be different. And I remember we did an exercise for myself. There was a situation that I went through. Okay. Okay, good. There was a situation that I went through. I got married at 17. And that marriage, wow, it was very abusive and it was very hurtful. And I left and came back. I left and came back. I left, and that's where I feel like, as she was reading part of my bio, is that God really delivered me from religion. Sometimes we're caught up in these rules and regulations, and you know what I'm saying? And if you do this, God's not gonna love you. If you move this way, you're gonna go to hell. And that's not the God I serve. You know what I'm saying? God is concerned about my soul, more than other things. And so I would go and I would come back, and it was getting worse and it was getting worse. And this time, this was after I said I had had a child that died. I had had her from the child that died. And this time I left, and he had two of my children. And he came to the place that I was at. The place I went to. He came to the place, but he came to this place with the urn that held the ashes of the baby I had lost. And he took, they told me, hey, such is outside, come outside. I came outside, he was driving by, he took the urn, he opened the urn, and he poured all the ashes on the grass. And at that moment, I felt like that was, to me, it was like my life. All I could see was everything is over. All these ashes represented, there's no way that I can put my life back together from this. And I was so angry. And I carried that anger and that hurt and that unforgiveness for years. I'm telling y'all, I've maybe released that. Was at a women's retreat. So I maybe released that maybe 6 years ago. I don't want to say my age, I'm 46. So I carried the anger, I carried the hurt, And I cannot get past that thing, you know? And I remember going to the retreat, and you guys can walk up here while I'm talking, it's okay. You can walk up here now. I remember going to the retreat and I'll say my mom's the pastor, so my mom was talking about letting stuff go at this retreat. And we had a fireplace. We were supposed to go and burn this in the fireplace. And it took so much for me to take that and burn it. But I was like, God, I'm tired. I know there's more that you want me to do. You tell me there's more that you want me to do. I see the more you want me to do. But I knew it was that thing at that time that was holding me. It was that thing that was like, no, he don't deserve my forgiveness. And this is what I really felt. He don't deserve my forgiveness. That was wrong, you know? And God was like, let it go. Just let it go. And I remember I went to, and I finally could walk up there, and I put it in the fire. And once I put it in the fire and I saw it burning, the release that I physically felt in my body was like none other. It was really like none other. And I'm telling you guys, we want to be healed in our bodies. We want to be healthy. We out here trying all these diets and all this kind of stuff. And like I said, I'm a survivor of breast cancer. And I'm like, God is a healer. Yes, God is a healer. Yes, God can take things away, but there's always something that is required on our part. And God will reveal that to you. And we cannot, negate that. We don't need it. You don't take all that. Honey, it does take all that. Just a little bit of forgiveness. And I'm saying a little bit in here, but that is the path. That's the bridge to hold. That's your bridge. You're trying to get somewhere. A lot of times we can do everything else. Well, I'm going to pray. Of course, you can pray. I'm going to read my Bible. I'm going to fast. I'm going to talk to this person. I'm going to go see a counselor. But are you letting it go? Are you forgiving? And I hope that you are. I love everybody here. I mean, I know you, but my heart and my soul, I love you. And that is my message to you. That is the bridge to wholeness. It is forgiveness. So if you don't take anything else, which I'm sure that you probably got a whole lot, because I did, from this conference, it starts here. For us to be unstoppable and go make other people unstoppable and be able to, hoorah, raise the fist and say, we got it. It starts here. And it's not about let me make myself pretty start here. It's the issues of the heart. So that is my message to you. Forgiveness, the bridge to wholeness. Amen.